gaming for a while, chances are you're familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, the blue guy with spiky hair, runs real fast, got his start on the Sega Genesis. He's an icon, definitely. But does he still have it? If he does, he sure doesn't show it this time. Sonic the Hedgehog for the 360 is pretty much a big blue bomb. Traditionally, Sonic games are pretty light on story. Bald and evil Dr. Eggman is trying to collect Chaos Emeralds that will allow him to rule the world, and Sonic has to stop him. The new Sonic still has Eggman and the Emerald, but it also has time travel, an ancient prophecy of fiery doom, and an implied romantic relationship between a human princess and a blue cartoony hedgehog with enormous gloved hands. Okay then, pretty ridiculous stuff. There are a lot of characters: Knuckles the Echidna, Blaze the Cat, Rogue the Bat, and no fewer than 3 anthropomorphic hedgehogs. But even if you like the characters, the convoluted manimal melodrama is poor quality. You might actually be better off reading internet fanfiction. Starting off, you've got no choice but to hang with Sonic. But after clearing a few stages, you're able to start a new game with Silver, Sonic's rival from the future. Silver uses his telekinetic mind powers to levitate and toss heavy objects at enemies, and floats himself through the air from platform to platform. Last up is Shadow, who skates along and occasionally hops into various vehicles to show off his supposed batitude. Each hog has a storyline to play through, which alternate between cutscenes, action stages, and segments where you explore a city or other non-combat zone. Other than following the game's hints to progress in the main story, people around town like middle-aged man or police captain will request your help. Robots need destroying pretty frequently around here. Dogs need finding, small children need saving, and so on. There's a lot to do in the new Sonic, but are you going to have fun doing it? Interestingly, the best moments of the game are the times where you can literally put your controller down for 10 or 20 seconds and watch Sonic power through loops, grind rails, hit bumpers, and fly through the air. Touching the controller actually puts you at risk of dying, and actively playing Sonic the Hedgehog just isn't a whole lot of fun. Action stages let you do some running and jumping, push you through a few loops and ramps, and slam into enemies with homing attacks, but the twitchy controls and a frustrating camera never let up. Unclear paths make it easy to run off the track and come to a screeching halt, or fall into one of the many bottomless pits. It can take a long time to build up speed without a boost pad, but certain sections of the game lock you into a turbo speed run and are nearly impossible to control. It's the worst of both worlds, really, and you get the same basic frustrations, minus the high speed, playing as Silver and Shadow. In addition to borderline broken gameplay, there are loads of technical problems. The breaks from the action, where you wander around the town of Soleanna, show off the worst of what the game has to offer. There's a complete lack of personality and life, but there's no shortage of spazzy camera work, disappearing people and objects, obvious slowdown, and load times that constantly interrupt the experience. Imagine this. Someone asks you if you want to take on a mission. You say yes, and wait for a loading screen. The person tells you what you have to do. Another loading screen. You play and finish the mission. One more loading screen. The person congratulates you, and then you're staring at yet another loading screen. You'd be hard-pressed to find a game out there with worse flow than this one. Sonic hasn't exactly been on top of the world lately, but it's hard to believe that Sega would let him sink to this level. The new Sonic the Hedgehog is just flat-out unfinished, unfairly difficult, and most importantly, just isn't much fun.